Hi, welcome once again to Stone Soup.
The world according to sci-fi geeks.
Still Sandy.
Still Rhiannon, and we are back in Cinnamon Kitchen.
We haven't cooked for a while, so we thought we'd cook. And we're going to show you how to make our special pumpkin pie recipe.
You may recall we promised we would do this around Thanksgiving. Didn't do it. Say we do it around Christmas. Didn't do it. We're here.
Tomorrow's Easter.
Sure. So we're doing it. Yay!
So we're doing it. So now the crusts are already made. They're back there, so she's going to show you how to, because you've got the crust recipe from before.
You remember when we did the cinnamon roll cookies, cinnamon wonderfulnesses, whatever we called it at the time? It's that same recipe. The episode number is probably scrolling along the bottom of the screen right now. So we're going to show you how to do the filling, since you've already known how to do the crust for ages. And the filling is my specialty. So,
and I shall bow to the mistress.
Well, you know, I learned from the best.
Yes, you did.
So we start, shockingly, with pumpkin.
This is we have...
canned pumpkin.
We have recipes for 2 pies, 4 pies, 6 pies, and 8 pies. This is the 2 pies. There's only 4 of us here in the house.
Yes. You know, as much as we love these pies, we have found that no matter how we try, we just can't eat 4 pies before one of them goes weird.
Yeah.
Sad,
So,
but there you have it.
we start with 1 small can of pumpkin.
Which is roughly 15 ounces.
Yeah.
Packed.
Hard-packed pumpkin, not the pumpkin pie mix stuff.
No.
Because with this recipe, it would just go very, very wrong.
Yeah, this is just the pumpkin puree. If it's good enough for Bobby Flay, by God, it's good enough for us.
I'll do that. You're cooking. I'll do that. I'm the sous chef.
Force of habit. Anywho, so start with the pumpkin. We then add, for just the two pumpkin pies, 3/4 cup white sugar. That was weird. And 3/4 cup brown sugar. Plunk. It always amuses me the way the brown sugar holds its shape. And you blend it.
It does that because it's moisture.
I know. It still amuses me. I'm very
We like to clean up as we go so that once we know it's in there, we don't put it in again.
Yes.
It wouldn't be so bad if, you accidentally put in twice as much cinnamon as you intended to. But if you put in twice as much salt as you intended to,
or even twice as much sugar,
that could be a not good. Yeah. A little extra cinnamon, a little extra vanilla, a little extra ginger, it's not going to be a problem. But a little extra salt or a little extra sugar could be, depending on how much a little is. And twice as much as you intended, your recipe's dead.
Yeah. Now, one year I did actually overdo the vanilla. The pies were still tasty, but the vanilla flavor overrode all the other spices.
Yeah.
Which, is not the goal.
So we were saying, well, this is pretty good, but it's wrong. She was like, I know, I failed.
I'm so ashamed. Anyways, so that's pumpkin, 2 kinds of sugar. After that, is when we add the flour. Now, you only get a little bit of flour here. This is about a heaping tablespoon of flour. You want between 1 and 2 tablespoons. So that's why I say heaping.
And that's so that this is a kind of a custard, and that's so it'll set up.
Yes.
Without that, it ain't setting up.
And you will have a lovely pumpkin fluid thing in a crust. That'll make a terrible mess when you cut it.
Yeah. You'll have to sit there sipping your pumpkin from the crust and then eat the crust. What do you have to start with?
Well, let's see.
Pumpkin pie spice.
I typically start with the pumpkin pie spice. Ta-da! Now this calls
As
for...
sous chef, I get to open things.
Yes.
And close them. Ginger.
Now, again, as this is the pumpkin pie spice, so this is the primary spice of the pumpkin pie, although it is half a teaspoon, I do a heaping portion.
We're very spicy people, so...
What can we say? Then we have the cinnamon. This is Saigon cinnamon. We remember we talked about that before. It kicks butt. And again, in the case of the cinnamon, heaping.
She probably could have just gone ahead and done a teaspoon.
I probably did.
Are you sure that's the half?
Yeah, look, see, right there, half.
Oh, okay.
I think I got the thing on my apron.
I think I've accidentally used the 3/4 thinking it was half. This is the ginger.
Yes, ground ginger next. Now, here's where it gets interesting. With the rest of the spices, although I do heaping, I don't do as heaping. See? Little extra, but not as much extra.
I'll do it.
Right. And then we have nutmeg. You may recall, I forget which recipe we were working on, but we mentioned once before that we thought it was base dishonesty to give somebody a recipe and then leave something out or not tell them how it's actually done. That's why I'm explaining to you about how I do my heaping teaspoons. Somewhat heaping, not overly heaping. Basically, exactly written, it's either half a teaspoon, whole teaspoon, but I always do just a little extra. And last, but certainly not least, allspice. That's it, except for the salt for the dry stuff.
Now, this is the salt. The recipe also calls for half a teaspoon of salt. But instead of heaping,
Scant. As you may recall from other
got
recipes.
enough spices in it, you don't need to kill it with... By golly, look at that. That sucker opens.
Huh, who knew?
Yes, we're idiots.
What can you say?
And yet, we're so talented.
Now I'm just going to take a moment, mix all this in, and then we'll do the vanilla.
That beeping you may have just heard was the oven saying, I'm ready.
Yes. But when you're doing this, you need to preheat your oven to 425 degrees.
Yes. Yes, you put them in the oven at 425 degrees for the first 15 minutes. Then you turn down the heat to 375. Let it cook until it's done. About 45 minutes more. Then you have to stick a knife down the center, and if the knife comes out clean, it's set up.
Okay, here's a question for you. How come a knife and not like a toothpick or something?
Because toothpick isn't big enough to give you what you need to know.
Ah. See, you learn stuff. Now with this, right, what you essentially have is a sweetened, heavily spiced pumpkin mash. It smells lovely.
And now, for the piece de resistance.
Vanilla. Again, it's supposed to be about half a teaspoon, but again, I heap. Now, of course, vanilla does not heap like dry ingredients do it. Oopsie doodles.
Oops. Well, actually, if you have dry vanilla, you can get powdered vanilla.
True.
Then you could heap. Is that all you're going to do?
Yeah, I think so. That was at least a teaspoon and a half.
I'm going to go fetch one more ingredient.
And then, as you can probably guess, 2 eggs. So, let's get this party started.
We're in the money. Where's the glass? Must be in the...
In the dishwasher, I think. Yeah. One in the leg. And 2 legs. If you wanted to, you could probably use a hand mixer, but I always do this by hand because it's just not trouble enough to be worth getting the hand mixer out for.
Yeah, it doesn't need a mixer. It blends just fine the way it is.
Yep. And frankly, I'd be afraid of making a horrible, horrible mess. So you blend in the 2 eggs. Break, darn you. There we go.
You keep blending. I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Typically, we use whole milk with this. We don't have any right now, so we're going to go ahead with 2%. It doesn't make a lot of difference. It doesn't really affect the flavor. It's just the whole milk can make it makes it a little more rich.
Well, actually, calls for 2 cups of milk. I did 1.5 cups of the 2% and half a cup of heavy whipping cream. Believe me, it's back up to richness.
Okay. This should be interesting, because I don't think we've ever done that to our pies before.
That's all right. Cream is only the top part of the milk.
This is true.
In some parts of the country, Minnesota, for instance, they actually call it top milk.
Really?
Yep. I got that from reading those Hannah Swenson books.
Ah.
In Minnesota, they have to plug in their cars every day in the wintertime, in the summer, and the winter, and the winter. The cameraman just helped. Anyway, because apparently it is so cold that if you don't plug in, there's a little heater under their hoods, and if they don't plug them in, the car, it won't start. It'll freeze up and it won't start.
In the summer.
In the winter. Their summers aren't very long, 4.5 hours, but they do have summer.
Now you add the milk a little bit at a time or it won't blend in properly, or it'll take a lot longer to.
You'll be forever doing it. Then you will need a mixer because you'll never get it. It smells lovely.
Thank you. Yes. We have gotten naught but praise for this pie. Isn't that one of those old family recipes?
I even got such praise once. This is when she was a baby, so she wasn't even cooking yet.
Nope.
I was at an SCA event. That's a medievalist
Recreation?
thank you, recreation thing. Well, my husband and I were SCA for many, many years. And I had donated 6 or 8 pies for the feast because it was a camping event. And this fella comes dashing up in full regalia, having just eaten a piece of the pie, and said, "My lady, name but who you will, and I shall slay him for another piece of your pie." I let him off the hook and just gave him the pie without having to slay anybody. I couldn't think of anybody I wanted slain. If only I'd have thought of, well, never mind.
Jerry Pornell has eaten our pie.
Yes, he has.
It was at a convention. We had access to the green room. You guys were on panels.
We were on, yeah, my husband and I were both on panels that year, so we had access to the green room. And this was a convention that takes place on Thanksgiving weekend. So, we finished our Thanksgiving feast. We pack up everything, all of our leftovers, and headed off. Well, because I knew we were going to a convention, I made extra pies. And we just funneled them into the green room.
Yes.
And my husband was standing in the green room, and Jerry Pornell came in and looked around and saw this empty pie pan sitting on the table. And he said, "Oh, they told me there was pumpkin pie here." And my husband said, "Hold on," scooped up the empty pie pan and said, "I'll be right back with a refill," and took off and came back with a new pie. Are you ready, my precious?
Yes.
My precious.
Which, means that not only were they saying, "Oh, there's pumpkin pie in the green room," somebody must have been saying there's good pumpkin pie in the green room.
Yeah, if they'd been saying there's crappy pumpkin pie, he wouldn't have been too upset, would he? Oh, I missed the crappy pumpkin pie.
My heart is broken.
Yeah, my heart is broken. Oh, my God.
Mom, could you take away those little bowls?
Certainly, my dear.
So you stir it all up, and you stir it all up.
And you stir it all up, and you stir it all up.
And there we go.
I have a little nub of crust dough. Not cooked or anything. You are a goddess.
Oh, thank you, madam. I learn well.
Yes.
Okay. Now, at this point, of course, the whole thing is quite thin, which is part of the point.
Our recipe, you take a big can of pumpkin, you get 4 pies.
Yep. Well, I mentioned that before. This, as we said, should come out to 2 pies.
Well, it better. It's certainly more than 1.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Well, there, you need to scoop it with. Or you can just do that.
Oh, boy. That is not even.
No.
So. Well, we're going to have to scoop some out of there, I guess.
Yes, so.
But remember, it's just the 4 of us. If they're not perfect, it's no bigs.
Yep. Dear me, dear me. Should I?
Yeah, hold on. We're going to do a little bit of leveling just because this one's a little too full. I just spilled milk into the top of it, but that's okay because there's milk in there.
It won't hurt it none.
I don't know how it could. Gotta taste this, people. It is fabulous. She has done it again. And now we're going to put these in the oven.
They still aren't very even.
No, but that's as good as we're going to get.
So, as said before, 15 minutes at 425. Then you change it down to 375 and cook it for another 45.
My husband recently re-leveled the oven because it wasn't quite level. He did a fabulous job. It is really level in there.
Yes.
And so, that is pumpkin pie, and we'll see you in about an hour to show you the finished product. Thank you.
See you then. Hello.
Hello. And here we are with the, ooh, they're a little warm, with the finished pies, all baked. Let it be said that pumpkin pie is not known for its great beauty,
No.
but they sure are yummy.
Yes. Smell Marvy.
And they smell fabulous, darling.
Ha. Yes, indeed.
So,
We'd eat a piece, but we've had these lots of times. We know how they taste.
yeah.
But they are marvelous.
Besides which, we have many things to do. The bread's in the oven, and it'll be coming out shortly.
But this is Tyra Pumpkin Pie.
Pie.
Actually, more accurately, it's Katrin Pumpkin Pie.
That's my maiden name.
Yes.
Yes. But yes.
That's how we do pumpkin pie.
Ta-da! Bye-bye.